Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me. Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Probably the worst delivered speech I've heard Donald Trump give. He ran over his lines. He mixed up the lines. He didn't deliver his punchlines.
Jammed in.
He would deliver a line and go to the next issue, and I don't think he even realized he was moving on to the next issue.
There wasn't a paragraph.
Someone didn't do a good job of breaking his speech so he knew what to do.
That's Rick Santorum, everybody. Rick Santorum. No one liked it. No one. I don't even know if you watched it, but no one liked. The only, according to the ratings, the people that watched it were almost all Republicans and journalists. Okay, no one liked this speech. Not Rick Santorum. Not anybody. That's because he's got low rent people writing his speeches, and he's too lazy to practice with a teleprompter. I mean, if you would watch like a W speech after the Trump speech, W would look like an orator, like the likes of which you'd never seen in your life. I mean, he would look like Martin Luther King Jr. Somebody that just captures the imagination. Some brilliant speaker. Wow, that was toxic. That was horrible. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to tell me if you watched it. It was so. Did it just seem long? No, it was long. It was 90. I told you yesterday the first one was like 80 minutes. He had to beat his own record. This is the longest speech, the best in the longest speech. Wow, that pie hole. Holy crap. It's like and around 10:15 last night when he started talking, like foreign policy. Oh my God, it looked like he was just waiting for the anesthesia to kick in. And I got news for you. He was the anesthesia. This was crazy. You know who the luckiest man in America was yesterday? Luckiest man in America was Secretary of Energy Rick Perry. He was the designated survivor, and he was somewhere off in a mountaintop getting drunk. Talk about winning the lottery. Wow. Here's the lesson. If you didn't sit through those 90 minutes, child cancer, bad. Not that I have a plan for doing anything about it. Just like investigations of the president. Bad. Very, very bad. And I feel strongly bad about the strongly bad cancer. Oh, God. If Trump just walked in, first of all, he didn't congratulate Nancy Pelosi at all on, her great win or becoming Madam Speaker or taking the gavel. He didn't congratulate the Democrat. It was so, when he first walked down, Madam Speaker, the President of the United States, that was a good moment. That was goosebumpy. I mean, it was a rerun because she has been Speaker of the House before. And you know what you don't realize? Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House in the Bush administration. She had to sit on that, in that chair that she was in last night next to Dick Cheney. And you would think nothing could be worse than having to sit next to Dick. You know what was worse? Having to look at the back of Donald Trump's hair doozy for 90 minutes. Oh, my God. That has to be like gag-inducing. That has to be vomit-inducing. That has to be like the most gag-worthy. She must be amazing in bed because the gag reflex was so suppressed you could hardly see it. She was, her eyes were rolling in her head. And of course, there's a meme now. It was a seminal moment. It was a fabulous moment where he was asking for cooperation. And she was like, duh, we offered you $25 billion. All we wanted in exchange was a path to citizenship for these kids that you seem to love so much when they're in the freaking womb. You know what I mean? So why can't you just, give them a pay? These are kids that didn't even get a traffic ticket or else they would not be DACA eligible. And so she leaned in and right in his face in the most aggressive way, she clapped right in his face. Oh, it was so, did I love. This was my, and then the other great part, he walked right into it. I'm telling you, it's because his bargain basement speechwriter, that Miller dude, that white supremacist, is the one who crafted this magnificent piece of bullcrap, which I'm telling you, if he would have just walked in and folded his arms like he does and just kept his pie hole shut. He could have accomplished the same damn thing instead of wasting. And you know, for me, it's not just 90 minutes. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. I have to watch it again in the morning because I have to cut it up. Jeez, that you talk about we don't torture people. That ought to be in the Geneva. That ought to be in the convention. Of course, he'll pull us out of that, too. Oh, what a sick thing that was. But he walked right into it. He was bragging about the economy. It was total lies. There's so many. I have so many fact checks in today's homework. Just help yourself. Pick one. The NPR one is like, I don't know, 30 pages, 21 pages. It's huge. It's so long. Oh, my God. And Nancy, so fun. She's looking at the papers like after every lie going, how many more lies do I have to sit through? How many more pieces of paper are there? Oh, wow. He's not even halfway done. Oh, wow. He's not even a quarter of the way done. Oh, my God. We're only 3/4 of the way through. Oh, 90% done. 90% done. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Wow. So bad. So bad. But then he walked into, he was bragging about his economy, which, by the way, has nothing to do with him. This is the 100th straight month of economic growth. Started with Barack Obama's stimulus package, which Republicans voted against because of the debt, you know, which, by the way, Donald Trump did not mention anything about the debt last night. He didn't mention anything about spending last night. I mean, where is the conservatism in this conservatism? I didn't even hear it. There was nothing in there about the budget. There was nothing in there about deficit spending. There was nothing in there about, it was a sick speech. But he walked into this trap that he didn't even see coming. He was talking about women in the workforce, sitting there talking to 120 women freshmen in the U.S. House of Representatives, all wearing white to celebrate the suffragettes. Idiot. But he just loves applause. Because when they actually started cheering for themselves, when he said 58% of women in the workforce, which, by the way, we used to have 60% of women in the workforce. So 58% would be less. That's right, less. Less than what we used to have. Why? Can't afford childcare. That's why jobs don't pay very well anymore. But anyway, he's saying 58% of our workforce is women, and these girls went crazy.
No one has benefited more from our thriving economy than women, who have filled 58% of the newly created jobs last year.
Look, they really... Hey, that's us. That's us. Hi. How you doing? Woo-hoo.
You weren't supposed to do that. But we must reject the politics of revenge.
Just watch Nancy.
Resistance and retribution, and embrace the boundless potential of cooperation.
She's like, how much more?
Compromise and the common good.
He just stepped in it. I swear to God, people were saying things like, it was like cookies and dog poop is what he did last night. He offered cookies and dog poop. That's what Van Jones called it. It was hysterical. I mean,
I saw this as a psychotically incoherent speech with cookies and dog poop. He tries to put together in the same speech these warm, kind things about humanitarianism and caring about children. At the same time, he is demonizing people who are immigrants in a way that was appalling.
Demonizing child trafficking.
Hold on a second. There were people in that gallery who were children who had been torn away from their mothers at the border.
Yep.
He did not mention them.
Right.
There were soldiers who were transgender, who have been thrown out of the military. He didn't mention them.
Yeah.
There are people there are veterans. He's talking about veterans. There are veterans who he has thrown out of this country who are dreamers. He did not mention them, and he didn't say one positive thing. Listen. If you want to talk about the people he could have mentioned,
so he's not mentioning is a bad speech.
And then what he did,
he's supposed to mention everybody. You want him to mention?
If you're going to talk about immigration, you're going to talk about undocumented people. Then talk
and
about
make his case.
No, hold on a second. And then talk about the one who drowned saving people in Houston after the storm. Talk about the people who have given their lives to this country. You guys see this very differently.
You guys see this very differently. You know what he did? He made the whole last quarter of the 90 minutes. Oh, it was so freaking long, man. It was so long. I mean, just trying to stay in it was like, I swear it was almost aerobic. Do you know what I mean? It was like almost, it was almost like exercising, which for me, no. But the last quarter of the 90 minutes was all about the Holocaust. Now, you know, Jared did that. I'm telling you, there was absolutely, it was the bargain to show how great America is. He talked about World War II veterans like my dad, who would have been throwing things at that freaking TV, who liberated Dachau, who actually, you know, were blown out of buildings after my father was in the Battle of the Bulge. He had D-Day veterans. I mean, the whole thing to point to America's greatness was all about World War II. Wow. It was really, really weird. It was very strange. Listen, I'm all for, you know, recognizing guys like my dad. But him doing it, Mr. Bone Spurs, sitting there saying, and why did they do it? They did it for us. For who? Billionaires? I don't think so. I think a lot of those guys did it because they knew that children and families were being taken to ghettos and exterminated simply because of who they were. And that's kind of what Donald Trump does to little immigrant children. He puts them in cages. He separates them, just like at one of these concentration camps. The women are over here, the men are over there, and the children are trucked away to a special camp. I mean, it was the sickest mixing of subjects. I mean, he put the bully in bully pulpit. It was just so bizarre. And, you know, we just need to throw him out of office so we can finally have a State of the Union speech that doesn't revolve around MS-13, okay? Can I just say that? It was the weirdest thing. MS-13, and then he downshifts into murder and sex trafficking and Day of the Soldado. I mean, you know, Sicario. It was like women bound with duct tape again. If you listen to Trump, the State of our Union is somewhere between Mad Max, Escape from New York, and Sicario, Day of the Soldado. And yes, that's how I speak Spanish. And my friends still love me. Yes, they do. Oh, it was just so sick. And then, oh, wow, the abortion passage. I told you he was going to talk about abortion. Why? Because Fox News is where he gets his news, and Fox News is where he gets his cues. And Fox News, with Bill Shine being the acting communications director, and Bill Shine being the not CEO, what was he, like programmer at Fox News? You know, playing both sides, you know, telling Sean, you should talk about this, and then telling the president, watch Fox News. You know what I mean? It's just such propaganda. So they were on the TV, the Fox News, like this.
This is a piece of legislation that legalizes infanticide.
This is very scary.
These are infanticide bills.
Infanticide. Infanticide. Legalized infanticide.
Some might call it infanticide.
What that doctor is talking about, or that governor is talking about, is when you deliver the baby, then they make a decision.
That's infanticide.
Oh, my God. They're talking about Governor Northam. There's a coup going on in Virginia. I don't know if you know that, but we'll talk about that too, because it's not just the governor, Ralph Northam. Oh no! Now I told you they're after the lieutenant governor. They say that he sexually assaulted a woman when he was in law school. And I had the order of succession wrong. Thank you to the person that sent me the correct order of succession in Virginia. The order there is if the governor can't serve, the lieutenant governor serves, right? And if the lieutenant governor is also unable to serve, the next in line would be the attorney general. And in that case, the attorney general is also a Democrat. And today he said he had actually worn blackface when he was 19 years old. At a costume party, he went as a rapper, but he got ahead of it. He said, you know, listen, it's been bothering me. This is the right time to get, you know, I don't know. There's a political argument to make that he wants to get ahead of it. But there's also an argument that he's confessing before he's actually got his hands in the cookie jar caught, right? And that's kind of appealing. There's something good about that. I'm always about a confession. You could always, come clean. So that was good. But if he somehow is impeached as well or deemed unable to serve, then the Speaker of the House, who is that Republican Bill Howell. So they had 3 people to get rid of. And isn't it something, lo and behold, all 3 of them today involved in scandals about sexual assault and blackfacing, which I'm just learning from the Virginians, the Southern Virginians, is a verb. Blackfacing. Anyway, this was so bizarre. Trump, I got to tell you, the abortion section, and it's all because of what Fox News did when Governor Northam was on that radio show. And, he's a neurologic pediatrician. And he was explaining that if a baby is not viable and it's very late in the pregnancy, the baby is delivered, the baby is resuscitated if the parents wish the baby to be resuscitated, and then a conversation ensues. They're implying that the conversation is, would you like us to sacrifice your live baby on the demonic altar of Beelzebub? Because that'll cost you extra. No, the conversation that ensues is about care options or hospice, palliative care for that baby, or about prognosis and treatment. And I will stick up for him every day, all day on that. Well, New York also passed a law, and that law, here's the thing you need to know. 1% of all abortions, 1% of all abortions are performed in the 3rd trimester. And almost always it's because the mother will die, high blood pressure, heart problems, pressure on vital organs, pressure on her heart, things like that, or because the baby is not viable. The baby has died, and you can't leave a dead baby in my womb because I'll get sepsis and I'll die. You see what I mean there? So, 99% of abortions happen in the first 20 weeks. Just saying. So they're spreading this infanticide thing. So, of course, Trump had to, double down. Oh, this was so twisted.
Lawmakers in New York cheered with delight upon the passage of legislation that would allow a baby to be ripped from the mother's womb moments from birth.
Good God.
These are living, feeling, beautiful babies who will never get the chance to share their love and their dreams with the world. And then we had the case of the governor of Virginia, where he stated he would execute a baby after birth.
He did not.
To defend the dignity of every person, I am asking Congress to pass legislation to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb.
If I was a radical cursor, meaning I couldn't find better words than the F word, I would just blurt it out right now. Dude, are you insane? You think so little of women? You think that that's what we do? We make deals with our doctor to give birth, to go through the whole painful experience of having an episiotomy, look it up, of having something that feels like a bowling ball's coming out of your butt to deliver a baby. That's what it feels like. I don't know if you men ever got it described to you in such, tangible terms. But that is what giving birth feels like. It feels like a bowling ball is coming out of your butt. Hang in there, just breathe. And then we would make a deal with the devil and say, let's kill it. What is wrong with you people? Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.